Right, that's us halfway through 2021. June started quite promisingly actually, with the USA almost going to war with Bulgaria after the military accidentally raided a sunflower oil factory. See, it was a military exercise, but they tripped and fell, and ended up storming a civilian-run facility while heavily armed with machine guns. The world's oldest alligator celebrated its birthday in June. Tony, when you edit this part, maybe you could show some footage of the world's oldest alligator's birthday celebrations.
There is an alligator. I knew there is.
I hope David Icke doesn't see that, Tony. A load of world leaders all got together in Cornwall for the G7 summit. It was a chance to get together to discuss things like the Good Friday Agreement, climate change, how to better lead their nations through a global pandemic, and other hard-hitting topics, before probably having a disco in the biome they'd booked, complete with a free bar and salad sandwiches. In London, loads of people took to the streets to protest government restrictions regarding closures and being required to stay indoors. Actually, you better mute that, Tony. That's better. We have to mute this stuff because A, that's a song that YouTube might have strict copyright rules over, and more importantly, B, it sounds terrible. Oi! I don't know about you, but all of these people swarming out there passionately to protest what they believe in really inspires me to stay inside and comply with the rules about keeping my distance. I'd feel more claustrophobic outdoors if it's going to be that crowded. Yeah, I'm definitely not going out. I'm staying indoors where nothing bad can happen at all, and I'd suggest all of you do the same.
It's not clear how or why the 12-storey residential building, built in 1981 and containing more than 130 units, came down, or indeed how many people were in it at the time. What we do know, though, is it came down overnight.
No one yet knows how many others may be trapped in the wreckage of the block.
So apparently buildings can just suddenly collapse with everyone still inside, which is both terrifying and deeply tragic. I'm inside now. Anyway, what was that? Deepest sympathies to all of those people. I might be okay to leave the house now anyway. Matt Hancock, our health secretary, was the one who oversaw the enforcement of the rules we've been following all of this time. Of course, he has been disgraced and forced to resign since then, but that was only because he was sneaking out to have extramarital affairs, and not because of hypocrisy. Sport! What? Sport already? Okay, I realise I usually wait until the end of the video to do sport, but get this, in June, too much sport happened. So it's going to take up most of the runtime of this video to cover it. Of course, I could always make a longer video, but I can't be bothered. So first off, we had Euro 2020. What year is it again? We had the postponed European Cup. I was initially reluctant to cover the European Cup because I talked about the Eurovision Song Contest last month, and the Euros is just like Eurovision, only with football instead of songs. And instead of it being over in one night, they drag it on for months. Other than that, it's exactly the same. This year, the host country is, well, nobody, because nobody wants to bring a load of tourism into their country at the moment. I kept seeing people parading through the streets, waving flags to show their support for whichever country they wanted to win. The most popular country taking part, though, appeared to be the one that has rainbow colours on its flag. I don't know what country it is, but people everywhere were parading through the streets waving those flags throughout the entirety of June. The first match was played by Italy and Turkey. Just as the match was about to begin, one of the players got cold feet and decided to leave, but he was too tall to get in his Uber after it arrived, so he just changed his mind and stayed. The French Open took place in Paris. Thankfully, I think that's it for tennis this month. Wimbledon. One of the challenging things about trying to cover Wimbledon is not being able to say any of the players' names, but I'll do my best. Players included Pavlyuchenkov, Shapovalov, Herkaks, Osoriososaranono. Is it on PC, me not being able to speak? Nedvedvedev, Pavlova, Andimurarai. Next up is the Tour de France, arguably the biggest cycling event of the year. I often see footage of these crowds of cyclists all moving together and it makes me feel a bit tense. What if one of them takes a tumble? They'll all go down. Wait, just pause that. Thanks, Tony. Now, I want us to appreciate this spectator on the left. It looks like she's put a lot of work into that sign, and she's leaning out there where it's quite dangerous so she can be on camera. She really wants her big moment on TV, so I want us all to just let her have that moment. I should also point out that participating in the Tour de France takes years of preparation, hard work and hope. That might be worth noting before the rest of this clip plays. Right, I think we can let this woman's moment be over now.
This peloton back together.
Through at the front of that bunch without getting caught up in the
Since
crash.
this incident, an investigation has taken place to find the lady with the sign, since she fled the scene in shame immediately after the pile-up, so that she wouldn't have to deal with the consequences. And it took a few days to hunt her down, so there were quite a lot of cyclists hurt in that pile-up, as you can imagine, but you can see that there were also spectators getting hit by stray cyclists. There's also a woman there trying to save that child. In golf, the US Open took place. Now, I realise that there aren't a lot of things more boring than me droning on about golf, but I had to mention the US Open because America don't play the same sports as the rest of us in the world, so none of the rest of us hear about what they're up to over there, and I have to pander to the US market if I'm putting this on YouTube. I did an entirely separate video about the Super Bowl, but that was months ago. I did see that the NBA Finals took place, but the last basketball game I watched was in the 90s, back when they were still drawing nearly all of the players by hand. There were a load of other sporting events that took place in June, including horse racing, cricket, various motorsporting events. To be honest, it's been exhausting keeping up with all of it, so I'm looking forward to next month, when no significant sports events will be taking place whatsoever.